Welcome to the PrinnyCast Roundtable, a casual weekly show where we talk about what we've been up to over the last week and other game-related stuff. We're your hosts for this week. I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
I'm Grover.
And welcome to the show. Been a busy week in a lot of ways. First of all, that great big batch of storms that hit the middle of the country earlier this week. I don't know how much it hit Grover's way, but it was kind of interesting here for several days.
It was pretty calm, actually. We didn't get very much at all.
And then, of course, the big Xbox One announcement. But before we get into all of that, what have we been playing this week, Mike?
Well, as you know, I got a Wii U earlier in the week.
Ooh.
So I've been playing Super Metroid.
Super.
They put it on the Virtual Console for the Wii U. They put it for sale for 30 cents.
Wow. 30 cents? That's awesome.
30 cents. So I went ahead and bought it. And the cool thing about the Wii U is that you can play the game on the actual gamepad without having to do the TV. So at that point, as long as you're around the Wii U, it becomes sort of like a Nintendo DS with a big screen. So, played some Monster Hunter Ultimate 3. I tried to play some Zen Pinball 2, but I didn't realize that the game doesn't actually come with any tables. It's free on the Wii U. You just have to buy the tables.
Okay.
Which, a bit pointless.
It's basically an engine for tables that you add to it, I guess.
Yeah, you pay for the tables, yeah. And they're not like little cheap $2 tables. They're like $8 and $5. And it's for one table. I just don't feel like spending $5 for one table when they've got like 20. So BioShock was on sale also on Amazon. They had their big gaming sale this past week. I ended up getting BioShock and BioShock 2 for only $5. So I've got those tied to my Steam account, and I have started BioShock on hard mode. So that's what I've been playing.
Cool. How about you, Grover?
Well, I've been playing a lot of PlanetSide 2, actually. Mostly just Medic and Engineer. I'm mostly a utility player, so I don't really go as the other ones intend to kill people. I just race around and support. And that's going good. At first, I was getting a little annoyed because, it's just I'm not used to FPSs, but then I'm getting into it. It's actually getting quite enjoyable. People are saying I'm a good medic, which I'm just like, okay. I just come up to people and kill them, so it's just like, how can you be you can't get more generic than that. So it's just like,
I think teamwork is kind of an important thing, and a lot of players aren't very team-oriented, so when they play Medic, they do their own thing.
That game are not team-oriented at all. They're just there for experience, which, and then you got jackasses that'll kill you for the fun of it, and even though they're on your team. And then I was playing some Titan Quest, and I'm playing the modded version where it's psychotically hard, and there's like so many monsters, so I just got out of Greece, and I've been playing for 2 weeks. It's that hard. It's absurd. I got out of Greece at level 30 on normal. And I was playing some Sim City, and unfortunately, I didn't see much of a change because of a toothache I've been having all week, and I started playing, but then my tooth was hurting so bad that I couldn't concentrate on doing any Sim City crap, and so that's all I've been doing.
It doesn't sound like you're at least giving it another shot again. It sounded like you were about ready to give it up again after last week's update. And
yeah, I figured since they updated, I'd give them another chance.
Yeah. And after I played that Flash version of Smash Brothers, I ended up going back and playing some of the other Smash Brothers of years gone by. Played some Congregate stuff the last 24 hours. It's a semi-MMO overhead shooter sort of space game in the similar vein to Armada for Dreamcast called Astroflux. Is it good? Not particularly, but it's actually kept my attention for a lot longer than I would have thought, so there's that. And then the Prinny Plays has been continuing going. I've recorded quite a few episodes this week. At least I don't think I did the last set over the weekend. Some are certainly better than others. The Surgeon Simulator, I think, is probably the best, but it's one of those type of games that's crazy enough on its own. You don't even have to actually say anything. It's funny. Dynasty Warriors 2, on the other hand, is so repetitive. I mean, I had forgotten how much that game has evolved since the original. And I say the original because Dynasty Warriors 1 is actually a fighting game. Got a couple of games in with Mike on the Dueling Network. He was trying out a new deck, which had some cards that just blew my mind of how cheap they were. But thankfully, it was a fluke. He couldn't get them again on the second game. So maybe that'll never happen again. We'll have to find out. But that worked out pretty good. And that's basically all I've been up to. The Prinny Plays have been most of my game playing lately. And that's not really a lot when you consider most of them are under 15 minutes.
Yeah. We haven't done that much this week, it seems like. But at least there's a lot of crap going on.
Yes, and speaking of which, Xbox One with its big launch stuff will probably get way more into the details of everything in game news itself, because that is most of the news for this week. But I don't think I need to ask. It's almost unanimous how people are feeling about this. So let's start with something easy. The name. Does the name work for you guys?
No. I thought for sure it'd be called the 720.
It would have been better.
It doesn't make any damn sense.
Xbox Next, Xbox Infinity.
I'm gonna continue calling it the Xbone.
Machinima was calling it the Xbox.
That's what I called the 360.
Call it Xbox what?
Xbox with an A. Like you've got a really thick accent. I'm playing the Xbox. So, secondly, unanimously once again by just about everybody I've heard, even people that are really hardcore Microsoft fans, said the unveiling, the reveal, the entire show was a joke. It was a mess.
It was retarded. The fact that you hear all this cheering and stuff, like excitement, and it's not even coming from the people that are watching. It's from the developers in some hidden area doing it. It's just like, really? You got a fake enthusiasm?
I was wondering if anybody else caught that, because every time they did a big pan of all of the journalists in the audience, you know, there's a couple of them doing kind of like golf claps and stuff like that, but none of them were doing the big cheers you heard.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
So they weren't exactly enthralled either.
I watched the whole show, and basically what I got out of it is we're turning your Xbox into a TV receiver. Oh, and here's some sports games.
And a water cooler.
And Call of Duty. That's basically what I got out of it.
Now, I have to say that the interface setup that they had is cool. It beats what I was saying out of the PS4. But they literally made half the show about them flipping through channels and calling people on Skype. And it's cool, but this is an unveiling for a console. And I understand that's where the Xbox One comes from. That's supposed to be the all-in-one. It covers everything. Matter of fact, the FAQ says, we're designing the Xbox One to be your all-in-one entertainment system that is connected to the cloud and always ready. We are also designing it so you can play games and watch Blu-ray movies and live TV if you lose your connection. So they're wanting it to basically take over your entertainment system. And how many times have they tried to do this? This was part of why this PlayStation 3 failed, is because it did this.
Mm-hmm.
They don't learn.
You are a gaming system. The gaming system.
EA showed up and all they talked about was sports for, that was almost the entire other half of the show. And a lot of it wasn't even game footage. It wasn't even like exclusives or anything. It was just them having interviews with famous players and live action screenshots of live action people on the playfields and stuff. And even when they did show footage, yes, it was probably running on the architecture of the new Xbox, but it was all technically, it was cutscene basically. That's all they've shown so far. Even on the Call of Duty stuff, I mean, when they were showing the models and everything, it looks fantastic, but they really didn't show anything in true motion. It was all cutscene stuff. And when you do cutscene stuff, you can align the architecture to do just about anything you want, because you can cut things you can't see. Something you can't do when you're running the system live in gameplay. So yeah.
Yusuf did promise that there would be more at E3, but I'm not sure how much more. Hopefully maybe by more at E3, maybe he meant that we'll actually see what the system can do as far as gaming. Because we certainly didn't see that.
I think they were going one way where they were talking about the television and everything, and I think they got this from so many people using their 360s or Netflix and everything, and I don't think they understand that people were doing that because they simply couldn't do anything else at that point. They didn't like any of the games. All they wanted to do was use a television. So they seen this and decided, oh, well, we should just add a television to our next system. And it's just like, no, you should make better games, not damn television system in, which, although I do admit, you know, that's useful, but
it shouldn't have been the focus of the show. As long as it's not taken away from the games, I'm fine with whatever extra stuff they do. I was surprised to see that the Kinect is actually going to be a standard part of the system, which to me sounds like it's going to make the system a lot more than what they're hinting at. They're talking like another $300 price tag. But this is a powerful system with the Kinect involved. How is it not going to break $500? That's
not really.
Yeah, I don't.
But like Mike was saying, that they're waiting for the E3 for most of the bigger reveals. Then why did they bother at all? E3 is only like 3 weeks away right now. They could have put a much better show together by then. And
yeah, I also don't like their little DRM stuff they were talking about. That they're that bothers me immensely.
And
they're like, oh, we understand that you want to share your CDs. So what does make it so that you can use one CD, but you still got to pay both systems? It's just like, oh my god, you people don't learn a thing.
It doesn't help that they've said one thing and somebody else comes along and says, well, no, it's more like this. And then somebody else says, well, no, it's more like this. And then the more recent word is, nothing's set in stone yet, because everybody kept getting irritated every time they announce something to try to clarify things. So they know they've stepped in it deep.
Nothing's set in stone. You guys just revealed your system.
Exactly.
Christmas is coming, you fools! You've got 6 months!
And the saddest thing was that whole unveiling thing was pushed back how many times? Because I think it was supposed to be mid-April the first time, then they moved it to like early May, and then it got completely scrapped till now. And I can see it sure didn't pay off for them.
EA was their sports stuff. One, I did watch some of it, but I basically turned it off when EA started talking because I didn't want to hear a word they said because it's just legendary right now.
Well, it probably doesn't help that EA got up there, well, not at this particular event, but they waived their whole passes thing where you had to buy passes for your online play, and so if you buy a used game, then you have to pay them again to basically what Xbox is hinting they're going to do anyway. So that's exactly it. They waived this like a week or two ago. I hadn't heard about it. It's just everybody has been talking about it since. But what's the point if now the new systems are going to allow them to do this without themselves looking so bad? So
yeah,
right. We know what you're doing, EA. You're not outsmarting anybody by this.
You're shoving your stupid always online shit down our throats a little more.
Mm-hmm. And then there was some other interesting news. It's not really game news per se, so that's why it's not in the game news portion, but Amazon mentioned, I guess it was overnight or something, because BBC headline was this morning, that Amazon is going to start allowing fan fiction to be sold on their website, something that usually is in the copyright area. But Time Warner said that 3 series of theirs, Gossip Girls, Pretty Little Liars, and The Vampire Diaries, now have an arrangement with Alloy Entertainment and Amazon, which is, of course, both owned by Warner Brothers, along with the 3 series. So they're going to start letting anybody that wrote fan fiction about these stories to actually sell them online. So it kind of makes my head scratch a little bit.
That's kind of weird.
But then I think part of this has come about the fact that BBC is the one that told me this because I did not know. The ever-popular 50 Shades of Grey trilogy that's going on right now that is, for some reason, just capturing a lot of people's reading attentions was originally written by the author as a fan fiction based on the novels and film franchise Twilight. I did not know this. And it makes it all the more funny to me.
Wow.
The book's about hardcore sex, basically.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's our roundtable for this week. Thanks to longplays.org for some of their videos. Thanks to galaxypugs.com for the home of the PrinnyCast forums, which has been kind of quiet lately. Follow Grover on Twitch TV, PrinnyCast_Grover, and Mike on Twitch TV at Ruzaz to watch either of them when they stream their games, which hasn't been lately, but they may make a return, so go follow them anyway. And on YouTube, Grover's channel is PCGOTW, where he posts commentated gameplay, and my channel is Maserati, where you'll see me post music and video game music, which is largely video game remixes. I will be putting out my Castlevania / My Little Pony song finally out this week. Took me a little while to get some footage for it because I wanted to be careful with the whole copyright thing, and Konami flagged us for the Symphony of the Night that I used last week during our roundtable show, so that was one of the things I was using. So between that and the My Little Pony footage, I wanted to make sure I got everything together. But I was also introduced to Ponyvania, which there is an actual very functional game of putting My Little Pony characters, well, kind of, into a Castlevania style game. And
oh my god.
So yeah, but our Twitter is at PrinnyCast, our email is at PrinnyCast@gmail.com. Feel free to contact us for pretty much any reason, and we'll catch you all next week. Don't forget game news and Prinny Plays all this week. Bye.
Goodbye.